let's get to our preview, Sam. Playing the Washington Commanders. Nasty Nick Gates is back. Cringe. He was very ruthless towards us in week 7, which feels like a long time ago. So, Commanders, Sam, are 9.5-point favorites. Not looking good for the Giants. We did beat them 14-7, but Tyrod was quarterback. Threw for over 250 yards. Giants defense had 6 sacks. Kayvon Thibodeau had a really good game. Just overall, scratching the surface, thoughts heading into this game, what you expect and whatnot.
Well, just to reiterate the fact that it felt like so long ago was the fact that I forgot that we've already played the Commanders. I'm sure you remember because you were at the game, but I literally was like, wait, did we play the Commanders yet? And I remember thinking, I'm like, wait, no, Tom was at the game. We had to have played the Commanders already. That's how it feels like. That's how time has felt so far in terms of New York Giants football. But the thing is, we did, that is one of our 2 wins, which is fun to think. But also, NFC East is normally a split divisional game type of situation. And obviously we are on the bit of a decline here. So I don't know how confident I feel going into this game, but also in a divisional game, anything is possible. Why not try and work out some kinks with the Washington Commanders? But yeah, I am feeling kind of iffy about everything. It just I could be going up against anybody right now. I would feel iffy. But yeah, this is Sam Howell is a pretty good quarterback, and he's very good at putting points on the board. So and that's obviously something that we're not good at. But we were able to stop it last time. So let's see.
Yeah, the Commanders have a bad offensive line. Sam Cosmi, Shadik Charles, Nick Gates at center has struggled. They don't have a good O-line. Charles Leno is like 1,000,000 years old. Sorry, Andy, if you're still watching that. Former Chicago Bear. That's why I mentioned that. General Booty, who was a tight end for Oklahoma, is his nephew.
Is his first name General?
It is.
His name is General Booty, like his government name?
As far as I know, yeah. That's what the site says.
That's insane. I love that.
Meet General Booty, a third-generation football standout with
No way.
You're going to have to look him up. Next New York Giant, General Booty.
General Booty. I hope he gets drafted just so we have General Booty in the NFL.
Oh, correction. General Axel Booty.
That's what a name. What a name.
My condolences to whichever commentators have been assigned to this Norfest of a game. Better have a pillow ready in the booth. Thanks, Noah.
Thanks. Thanks, Noah.
You're not wrong, but thank you. I will say, though, I don't know if it'll be a snooze fest as far as Washington is concerned. I mean, despite losing to Seattle last week, Sam Howell had a really good game, as you were mentioning. 3 touchdown passes. His running back had 119 receiving yards and a score. However, the Giants have won 7 out of the last 10 matchups against the Commanders. They lead the all-time series big 107-71-5. Let's get into our keys to the game. Sam, by any chance, how do the Giants win this game? What do they have to do to shock the world and make Cedar Grove, New Jersey, the most popular town in the Northeast?
I think one of the major things, and it was when I was looking up Sam Howell stats. Yeah. So he's been very good with 1, putting points on the board in terms of touchdowns, and 2, not throwing interceptions. And I think that that's going to be a big thing for our defense is like get Sam Howell to turn over the ball, like get Sam Howell to throw the ball to our defense to like, kind of give us another chance to get points on the board because, yes, we kept him to 7 points last time we played. but there's a very strong chance this time around that they're going to be able to put a lot more points up than 7. I think we got really lucky with that game, figuring we only put up 14 because that's like our magic number is like 14, 17, 10. We really can't make it into the 20s. So that's going to be a big thing. And their run game really hasn't been much of a factor. Brian Robinson has really slowed down. He was this really great player to watch last year, and we're just not seeing that again this year. Just keep the run to a dull roar. Turn the ball over. Keep the offense on the field as much as possible. I know it'll tire Tommy DeVito out. It'll probably scare him a little bit, but like Andy's even saying it, let Tommy cook. Like, let's do it. Let's see what he can do when he's on the field a little bit more. I think you're muted, Tom.
Oh, thank you. I guess I'm 2-8 as well. Andy says, let Tommy cook. John disagrees. Barkley needs to run, not in the air. I think we should let Tommy
We tried
cook.
that. We tried that last week, and that was something that I texted you during the game, that Tommy DeVito kept handing the ball off to Saquon, and it just wasn't working. And I don't know if that was just because of the Cowboys defense. I don't know if it was because of the offensive line, but like, I was literally like, why do they keep running the ball? It's a very obviously not the case. So maybe it might be different up against a little bit more vulnerable of a Commanders defense now that they don't have Sweat and Young.
Mm-hmm.
But Saquon really has not done Saquon things this year like we were seeing last year.
Yeah, especially with 8 guys in the box too. Kafka has to go. He has to go. Or he needs to get his ass down to the sidelines rather than sitting up in that box every game.
Hey, it worked for the Steelers. Matt Canada went down to the sideline. Totally different offense.
Maybe Mike should take a page out of Canada's book.
Why not?
It could be a big difference, John. You're right. Yeah, it's very interesting to see Northwestern legend Mike Kafka, Big Ten West legend Andy. I hope you love your 10-7 games. Big Ten West is a different animal with football, and I think winning the turnover battle is key, Sam. I think the Giants' defense is capable of forcing Sam Howell turnovers. Last time I was at the game in Week 7, Deontay Banks had a nice interception in that one. Kayvon Thibodeau was all over Sam Howell. And I think the Giants are going to get sacks in this game. I think the defense is going to keep us in it. In fact, I think it's going to wind up being a 1-score game again. I really do. I don't know if it'll go in the Giants' favor, but I think it's going to be a 1-score game regardless. Now, keep in mind, folks, this game is in Washington for whatever that's worth. And obviously protecting Tommy DeVito is key.
Protect the man.
Andy appreciates art. John Suggs says, no way. Well, 4 weeks ago, it was a 1-score game. Giants won by 7 with Tyrod Taylor. Just say. Likely no Evan Neal this week. So, not that. I'll be honest, as much as this is terrible to say, Sam, the Giants play better when Evan Neal's not out there.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah, he does. They do. And honestly, I would prefer if we figured out where to put the guy if he's going to stay on the roster, because obviously sitting at right tackle is just not working. And it sucks that we spent a 5th-round pick on this man. And we were so pumped. We were literally like, we won the draft that year. And oof.
Also, where is Aaron Robinson? Where is he? He hasn't played since last season. He's still on the PUP list. He's like MIA.
I don't know. That's a good question.
Another third round draft pick that's unavailable. It just clicked into my head that he hasn't played a game this year, and I'm just really mad at these
You
Gettleman
saying
picks.
that I haven't even thought about, like, I haven't even heard that name in like a year. So you
Yeah.
saying that? Oh, John Sugg says torn ligament.
Oh, interesting. And he says he's going to buy me a 48-ounce steak if the Giants pull off this upset.
That's fun.
Yeah. Oh, there he is. Pup had 5 tackles in 2022. Woohoo. Also, I just pulled this up from last week, and a few weeks ago we did a picture about the state of the New York Giants, and I'm going to upload this photo for the Dallas game that clearly explains this season and the direction that it's headed, because this is just god awful. So it's a picture of an offensive lineman being a Giants offensive lineman, folks. Marcus McKeithen is turned the wrong way, blocking Saquon Barkley and not allowing him to move. If McKeithen turns his ass around and notices the 2 defenders there, Barkley might score on this play.
Who is this behind him who's actually going towards these 2 defenders?
That looks like Pew. 67?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. And the thing is on his arm. I see it.
And McKeithen is MIA.
It's like the Evan Neal video of him blocking his own. Was it Waller? I think it's Waller in that play where he literally blocks Waller from running.
Thanks, Noah. Yeah, it was bad. I didn't have time to reset my router tonight, so I do apologize if it's in and out, folks. LOL, typical Giants. So, Sam, who from Washington do you think could have an impact on this game Sunday? We saw last time the Giants kept McLaurin in check, and you mentioned some interesting stats about him as well.
Yes. So something that I noticed while I was just, this is just numbers and stats, but, while they don't tell the whole story, they do tell part of the story. And I just think it's really interesting that Scary Terry, who is supposed to be incredibly scary, has not had a 100-yard game yet this season, and only has 2 touchdowns on the year. So I think that that's very interesting. He's gotten up to the 80s and the 90s. He's been close, but you would think that like your star wide receiver on your team would have a 100-yards game at least one time this season. But we're entering week 11 and he doesn't. And I actually think Jahan Dodson is more of a threat than Terry McLaurin is. He only has 1 more touchdown than him this season, but I don't know. I just feel like he's more of a threat than Scary Terry is, which is interesting, but also a good note to point out to the Giants defense. It's like, it's not this guy we should be focusing on. It's this other guy. So he's one of my players to watch. Sam Howell is definitely one of my other ones. He is just a sneaky boy. Every time he walks out onto that field, I am impressed. I think every time we see the Commanders score, like my dad and I sit there and we're just like, Washington is like playing a game. They're constantly surprising everyone every single week. And Sam Howell is a huge part of that. He's just rocking and rolling. In the last 3 weeks, he's had over 300-yard games. And he's just doing what he needs to do and puts up 3 touchdowns last week. Like I said, he can put points on the board, which is one of the big reasons why he's somebody that we need to keep an eye on and a key to our game in terms of turnovers, because he's the one who's putting points on the board. And if they don't put points on the board, maybe we have a chance.
You're right. I also like Sam Howell. I do. I think he's a very underrated and underappreciated quarterback in this league. His stats are not too far off from some of the league's best. Some of the league's self-proclaimed MVP candidates. I'm not saying Sam Howell's an MVP candidate, but remember, statistics do not tell the whole story. So if you're comparing statistics, Sam Howell is up there with the best in the league this season as far as statistics go.
Right.
We're not saying value and how we're not saying he's a top 10 quarterback. Sam Howell is a new boy, but plays like an old boy. He does.
I don't know
I,
what that means, but
yeah, that's an inside joke with Noah. I know I'm your enemy, but it's funny. I honestly do pull for y'all when you play those cowgirls. I pull for you too, John, when you play the Cowboys, and the Eagles. Um,
oh, is John a
Caught me off
Commanders
guard
fan?
there. I believe so. No, don't
Oh,
quote me on
okay.
that.
I was unaware.
I did not know that for sure either. But when he commented on that, it kind of clicked in my head, saying Kate Curl is going to be a game changer.
That he was one of when we talked to Marty last time when we were previewing last Washington's game, Curl was a huge piece of the puzzle according to Marty, and I'd like to think that he was in that game.
Yeah, I'm with you there. And for me, I think one player to really watch is on the defensive side of the ball. I just really love the way that he has played this season with Cameron Curl. I love how he patrols the field. He's very good at tackling. Um, if Deron Payne and Jonathan Allen can't get the job done up front, he's there to back them up. He's been a solid option. I really do. But remember, this Washington team lost a step too. They traded away Montez Sweat. They traded away Chase Young. They're not there anymore. So the Giants
That's what
right
I'm
now,
saying.
these teams are not as far off in comparison as I think. Washington lost to us with Sweat, with Young.
That's
I'm
right.
not sure if Young played, but
I don't remember.
That's how the cookie crumbles. It's divisional games. They're always close, John. I wouldn't take it for certain that it's a double possession game. But Sam, I want to turn to you here. Your players to watch for the Giants and why.
All right, Giants wise, we're gonna shout out our man Tommy DeVito here, because I'm very interested to see him play. If that's how he was playing up against the Cowboys, the Commanders, I do think are a more manageable team. Not saying that we're gonna beat them, but they I think are a little bit more manageable, especially no Young, no Sweat. But I'm definitely gonna keep my eye on Tommy DeVito probably for the rest of the year as long as he's playing and seeing what he can do. So he's definitely gonna be one of my players to watch. I'd love to see him throw some more touchdowns. I mean, we've seen him run in touchdowns. He can get points on the board, which is wonderful. And my other player to watch, I don't know. Don't ask me why, but I had an incredible inkling about Daniel Bellinger in this game. I just really feel like we have not really been seeing a lot of him. He has not scored a touchdown yet this year. He's someone that just in general I love to watch, but I had this feeling this morning that Daniel Bellinger is going to be somebody to keep an eye out on this game. And I think that he's going to be a huge factor and he's going to be somebody that I'm going to be watching.
Bellinger led the Giants in receiving yards last week with 34.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, best of the worst, right? I mean, he's a good player. He's a good player. He was a day 3 pick that Joe Shane crushed last year. That's why I'm saying, like, you got to give these managers and these coaches time. You really do. John Rankin with a comment. Has been the roughest season ever for this podcast? ? I believe so. I'm sorry this season has been the most painful for you two amazing human beings.
Oh.
If you remember, he was the Steelers guest on Andy's draft show a couple years ago.
Yes.
Before your brother came on, I think. So Rankin's a good guy. Shout out to Tight Spot. Go check him out on Twitch. He does a lot of great work over there. Hope Vegas is going well for you, buddy. All right. So Tudo says hello.
Hi, Tudo.
For me, love Tudo. Keeps us energized during a bad season. I'm going with Kayvon Thibodeau and Deontay Banks, both defense here. I think Thibodeau has a really good matchup against Leno and Cosme. He did really well against Cosme in week 7, and Deontay Banks going up against Terry McLaurin. I think he will contain him. To Sam's point, I think Dotson will outgain McLaurin in yards in this game. I do. So look out for Deontay Banks on Sunday. And my honorable mention is Jalen Hyatt. Get him the ball, please.
Please. And we know he can. We know Tommy DeVito can get him the ball. Make that connection happen.
Yeah, it's really, really tough. Injuries. Well, there's a lot. Hyatt did not practice today with a concussion, so I hope he plays. Dory's out. I don't expect him to play with a concussion as well. Evan Neal did not practice. Bobby Okereke with the hip. Kayvon has a concussion. A lot of guys are limited too. Wandale and Banks specifically. I'm sure all the limited guys will play. But I'm most concerned about Thibodeau and Hyatt out of the guys that are hurt. I think Okereke will be fine. But the concussion protocol, Sam, the NFL's been a lot more strict about it after what happened with Tua last year.
Yep.
I hate to put one player on a pedestal there, but since those concussions, I feel like the NFL has done a much more stricter job of managing when these guys can come out of protocol. And there's only one player that's exited concussion protocol within a week that hasn't had to miss at least one game since the Tua injury, and that was Brock Purdy a couple weeks ago. Yeah. So I hope Thibodeau makes it. I hope Hyatt makes it, but I don't know if they will. And that is concerning.
I mean, I get it. I understand why they are more strict with this protocol, but yeah, we'll see what happens. I guess there's also like varying intensities of concussions as well. Like, you could have a very intense concussion or you could have a micro concussion. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But those are two people that we really need to see on the field.
Cousins was another before he got hurt. I don't remember this one, John, but all ears. Let's get into our game predictions. So, Sam, we'll start with you. Who's winning and final score?
Yeah. So I actually, when I popped my final score into our little doc, I did not see your final score ahead of time. And so I think we have very similar score predictions. Mine is 24-17 Washington. I think that, again, division games are usually split in the NFC East. Washington lost to us last time. We're going to be in their, in their territory. I'm just, we're having a tough ride, and I think that the Commanders are gonna hand us another loss.
Yeah, I'm also going 23-17. Well, not also, but your original thought was probably my score, which, I mean, that's okay if we duplicate final scores. Great minds think alike.
That's true.
Tudo gives Giants a 17-10 win.
Hey, at least somebody out here is giving the Giants a win. I appreciate that, Tudo.
I do as well. 23-17 Washington. We split the season series. Giants fall to 2-9, remain in the number 2 spot for NFL draft pick, going into a potential 2-9 versus, I don't know, I think New England has a bye this week. Yeah, that's right. 2-9 versus 2-8 against the Patriots next week off their bye. So that should be interesting to watch. Appreciate all the comments. We love all our fans, all our support. Sam, any parting words here before we do our plugs and sign off?
Mrs. DeVito, feed Tommy well this week. We need him. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Tommy DeVito needs to play well on Sunday for the Giants to have a chance. All right, folks. If you have not checked us out yet, make sure you do on all of our platforms. Social media is there below. Oh, I got to shout out the boss, Brian McCardle, saying, great show, guys. Thanks, Brian. Appreciate you.
Thanks,
I'll see
Brian.
you in a little bit. Don't fire me, please. Tudo says good night. Rankin says good night. Love you all.
Thank you, sir.
All right. On behalf of Sam Cardona, I am Tom Scavetto, wishing you all a lovely evening. Enjoy some football, good football. Hoping for the best, but if not, we will see you all next week. Without further ado, let's go Big Blue.